say go, I'll hit the button.
Cool.
Let me mute my phone so folks don't blow me up while I'm live. Because nobody ever calls me till I'm live.
All right, I am ready to go.
All right, let's pop over.
Heck yeah! Woohoo!
Hello, look at us.
Yeah!
Hi, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so we look great. You look super high def, and your hair looks fabulous as always.
And your hair looks absolutely fabulous as always as well.
All right, everybody, if you are new here and you're joining us, welcome to our wonderful year in review. The mighty 2020 is coming to an end.
Yep, pretty
Which
much.
is bittersweet for both Steve and I. I think it's bittersweet for both of us. If you haven't met Steve before, Steve, would you tell the lovely people who you are?
Hi, I'm Steve Saylor. I'm commonly known as a blind gamer. I am an accessibility advocate and consultant. I've worked with such studios to make their games accessible. I've worked with Ubisoft, EA, Microsoft, and this year, Naughty Dog for The Last of Us Part 2. Which is really cool, and it's been a crazy 2020, as I'm certain you've been. Actually, Zombae, because also I'm streaming as well, why don't you tell my audience about yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Zombaekillz, and I am an activist. I like to call myself a blacktivist, but I'm an activist. I also stream over on Twitch, and I've worked really hard to focus heavily on representation and diversity and inclusion in gaming for marginalized groups, not just Black women, not just Black men, but disabled creators, indigenous creators, and the like, trans, LGBTQIA, like the whole gauntlet. So that's kind of been me, is raising awareness towards civil rights issues, etc., things that are circulating in the games industry, and on deplatforming white supremacists operating in our space.
Yes, 1000%. Oh man, wow, what a 2020, huh?
2020 has been
I mean, like we were talking, I know we were talking a little bit before it, but I'm like, 2020's been weird, and it's been so surreal for both of us.
It has. It's been weird. And I know you and I talk a lot. So for people who don't know, like Steve and I have gotten really close this year. Steve's somebody like I can talk to about pretty much anything. And we've been able to really celebrate each other's like victories. We've been able to hype each other up. Like pretty much our DMs are just us two in DMs back and forth going, holy shit, this is happening to us. And really just being super supportive. Steve is a sweet, supportive being that I feel really blessed to have as a friend. And I think this year's been great for us, but it's also been tinged with sadness that like there's like coming from me and coming from A Lesson in Blackness, which I was on with Cam Final Mix over here on Twitch, Cam Hawkins, Wonderful Human, Khalif Adams, Blessing Jr., Pika Chalita, Paris Lily. All these people were on it with me, which was under very sad circumstances. It was surrounding the movement behind George Floyd's death and what we felt like being Black in this space. And that thrust me into this space in a very heavy way. And through that, I was introduced to you. Mm-hmm. And we became fast friends. And then all of a sudden, everywhere I saw you and I were alternatively in the same places.
It seemed that way. We kept crossing paths a lot, and it was really kind of cool to be like, hey, I know you.
It was pretty cool because I have never before this, to be very real and like frank, I had never really thought of accessibility in a tangible way in my stream. I had never thought of accessibility in a way that I operated in my day-to-day life.
Hmm.
And I'm disabled as well. A lot of people know I have lupus, etc. But not all disabilities are created equal, and not all levels of accessibility are created equal. It needs to be like a living, breathing thing. And I learned so much from being friends with you this year. I am so thankful because I've been able to reach more people and learn and grow and teach people about accessibility in the ways that you've made it very tangible for me, and very accessible for me to learn, if I dare say use the term.
That's
And
fine.
I
Yeah.
think and I think that it's something that's really helped me grow this year, and I'm really proud to know you because every day I feel like I learn something new, or I think of things in a different way. And it's thankful to friends like you and friends like Steven Spawn, like people who are Cherry, all kinds of people that are bringing these things and working in this space. So I feel like we were doing the same podcast and stuff, but for very different purposes, and
Yep.
targeting and exposing people to very different things.
Yeah,
And
and I also
it
like
got
even
wild.
for yeah, and even for you as well. Like I first became aware of you through that Spawn on Me podcast, and I will admit, I mean, I totally will leave my privilege at the door. I mean, I knew of sort of like kind of what was going on, but I didn't really understand sort of like what it felt like. And like I understood all the logic of it and just like everything surrounding it. I understood all that, but it was just I never really kind of understood sort of like what it's like to live like the way you live. And I will totally say I think that was one of the absolute moments that I'm like that I look back on for 2020, that I learned so much from you on like on that Spawn on Me show, plus also all the amazing people that you mentioned that were on it as well. I immediately followed all of y'all just because I was like you all basically like touched me in a way that was like, I need to know these people. And all throughout this entire year, what I loved and sort of hated about it is that I kept seeing you you all advocate for more, and it was disappointing to be able to see like that this sort of that moment in the beginning of the year, kind of it had to happen, and it felt like that it was just for majority of the world, it was still a fleeting moment, but you all kind of kept that torch going and being like, no, we have to make these kind of systematic changes, and learning a lot kind of what it's like to live as a Black creator in this space, and even just within the video game space alone, but just just in the world in general. I learned so much through you, and just kind of seeing you pop up in all these different places in different podcasts, and just like basically speaking your truth, which is so rare nowadays, because every time you sort of see an influencer, they're always afraid to basically speak their truth and speak what's going on, and you were unabashedly being like, no, this is how it is, and this needs to change. And I learned so much from you, and then like and to also call you friend in that as well. It meant the world to me, like that we basically became friends through all of this. And even though our sort of crazy 2020 was happening in sort of our own little worlds, but I love the fact that we were able to connect at certain points and being like, yes, this is this is, as much as some of the stuff sucks, and we were able to support each other when that happened and when that stuff happens, but like being there for our celebrations too, because 2020, as shitty as it's been, has been a great sort of moment for our own personal lives and careers. And I'm so happy
Absolutely.
that we basically got to celebrate that together throughout this entire year, but not basically memorialize that in this stream today on literally the last day of 2020.
I know, it's crazy because we talked about doing this because I love the way that we've celebrated each other, like privately. Like, not everybody knows, like, we celebrate each other publicly too, but like privately, we've really kept each other like uplifted, because there came a point I felt like in 2020 where I was having so much success that I felt isolated by having success, and I felt afraid to share my success on my timeline because I felt like it was alienating some of my friends who were having such a rough year, because 2020 was not great to everybody. Yeah. But the fact that I could jump in my DMs And I could be like, Steve, this great thing's happening. And you're like, oh my gosh, this great thing's happening to me too. And we could just high five each other through those great moments without having to loudly talk about them, but that we could just, I don't know, relish in those moments of peace with each other meant so much to me. And I am so lucky to call you a friend because you are such a good friend. In case anybody doesn't know, you should get you a Steve. I'm just saying. 10 out of 10 recommend a Steve in your life. Get you a Steve. In particular, Steve Saylor, but if he's not available, you might have to settle for a budget, Steve. I don't know. But,
fair.
You know, but for me, I think some of the great things, and this goes to show you something that was really important for me too. And I'll go to this because this is kind of where the intersectionality of our success becomes a thing. Intersectionality of our success, what me being this Black female creator, and you being a disabled white male creator, and us going, here we are, both having these successes in very different ways, but we're both experiencing harassment once we got to a certain point.
Yes.
Once this year started to kick off, then the bad parts started coming with the good parts. And for me, it's been pretty continual because I am unabashedly loud and Black at all times. And I'm very much my most authentic self to a fault. And I very much like, I don't back down. I'm not going to let people hit me quietly in a corner. I would never allow that to be a thing that happens right now. And I can't say enough how much it meant to have you use your platform. When you saw me being harassed, you stood up and you said, this is enough. This is not right. This isn't how it should be, etc. Like, if you've got a problem with Zombae, you've got a problem with me. A lot of people shied away from that. A lot of people that I would have called friends up until that moment kind of pulled back. Some people were like, this is too much. I don't want to touch it. And you didn't do that. You didn't just talk to me privately, because there's something to be said for supporting somebody privately, but there's also something to be said when somebody very publicly says, I stand with this person. You're not going to do this to them. And it's not acceptable. And also, if you think this way about them, don't come over here. There's something powerful in having an allyship like that. And that's one of the things I appreciated, but it also shows the intersectionality and the power that we have using our marginalized groups as a fence for each other. Like having ourselves go, we're marginalized creators and we stand together. We don't stand over here. As long as you're not talking about disabled people, I'm not involved. And as long as you're not talking about Black people, I guess I don't care. Or as long as you're not talking about women, leave me out of it. There was none of that. And I love that. So I looked to that in the moments of darkness, but I also saw you going through similar things. Like, obviously, you don't got people making whole 45-minute YouTube videos about you every 5 minutes, but
no, but we did get hit by the same people.
Got hit by the same folks because they love punching down in our direction. That's like their whole bag.
Yep.
And I saw it, and it was ugly, especially since you're so nice. Like, I will fight people in a Target parking lot for you, 100%. I'll take off the wig and everything. But I saw it, and I had never thought about what it was like to be a disabled creator in this space. And I never thought about how mad accessibility made people.
And
that was wild to me.
I mean, it comes from just sort of how disability is sort of shown and portrayed in media, and it's been like this for decades. And it's kind of where a lot of sort of people are being like, it's fine, they're totally fine. It's like, no, we're not. It like, there are definitely some ableist sort of mentalities out there, and some of which is like can be educated on, and some can't. But I mean, I've always said that essentially, even though the harassment comes and it comes in waves, and I will, as much as sort of, there's two things essentially I learned this year, and this kind of goes back to your earlier point in regards to sort of allyship, is that I realized that part of, I guess, the responsibility of being an influencer in this space is that you can't sort of just only be like only be segmented to just the thing that you're an influencer for, because like part of being the influencer is that you have an audience, you have a platform, you have a soapbox, and if you can't stand up for what you believe in like publicly, then you have no right to be able to support people privately, because they're like it's the when I saw what was happening to you and to other like black creators in this space, it was horrendous, and I was like, if anybody from my audience sort of saw that and learned from it, that was the ultimate, that was the sort of the ultimate goal, being like, hey, this is gotta stop. And I wanted to like to say publicly, as well as, because we messaged each other privately through DMs, but I wanted to basically say publicly, it was like, this has to stop. And I've also learned another thing this year is that ignoring the trolls essentially gets us nowhere. That's old sort of internet mentality thinking, because it used to be when people sort of say ignore the trolls, it was to a certain point, because it was only on one platform. It was always just on one site. It's like, okay, you know what, you can, it's okay to ignore it because they're just there on this forum, on whatever, and you can ignore it, and it's not going to affect your everyday life. But now with the growth of the internet and social media, it's gone beyond just the one platform. It is now multi-platform. It is now everywhere, and they'll find you. The trolls will find you no matter where you are. They'll find your, even find family members in some of my friends' cases, and get like doxxed, and it's insane that is happening. And I'm like, you can't ignore the trolls anymore. It has to stop. It is outward, it is direct harassment. And even though people say, oh, I'm not saying to be able to to harass this person, I'm but you if it happens, if you put out a piece of content, you're not saying for someone to harass you or harass a person, and it happens once, you could call that as being ignorant. You didn't know, and hopefully you'll learn to do it again. But the fact that these people basically were doing it constantly, and not just towards one person, but to multiple people. And if you claim, oh, I'm not sort of sending my people towards you, but you've sort of trained your audience that is okay, that's where that trolling needs to stop. And it needs to I can't ignore the trolls anymore. And I will do either one of two things. Either A, I will report and block, and mute in certain cases. But then I will also, if I see that there is a possibility, I will always try to educate. I've failed in some of that this year, but I will say that I generally always try to be able to educate, because especially when it comes to disability, and I'm certain for you what it's like to be black, essentially there are certain things that people just don't know about. That's why I love the Spawn on Me show, because I learned so much just what it's like to be a black creator or a black person in this space. And I was like, okay, I now understand that. I don't understand it 100% fully because I am not black, but at least I understand it enough to be empathetic towards my friends who are black. So I sort of take it as an education opportunity when it comes to sort of disability, because they're coming at it with, they just don't know. They're just ignorant to it. So if I try to be able to say, this is how it's really like, and if they come back and say, you know what, I did not know that, now I do. And sometimes it can turn into people being a fan, or sometimes it could basically just turn into, they just are stop being a troll anymore. And I will, 9 times out of 10, that never works. But I will always do it for that 1 out of 10, because I feel like that is worth it in that case.
And I feel that way kind of works better, maybe more for being disabled than it does for being black, because racism is very different a lot of time than being ignorant to your ableist tendencies. Racism is based in hatred, and like xenophobia, etc. So it's a little bit different, but they are adjacent enough. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is an adjacent enough thing that we live on the same island. We're just on 2 separate sides of the island, but our side of the island can be so incredibly violent and damaging, and we're risking our lives. And this year, I felt so happy and excited so much of this year until recently, where I became afraid for my life. And being doxxed and being targeted and having my children stuff exposed, etc., became the worst thing I've ever seen.
Right.
I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like what happened to me this year. I've experienced so much hatred as a Black woman, but normally it has been in one space. So the whole idea of just ignore the trolls comes from this weird place of privilege that so many people are able to operate from that I'm not able to operate from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I would love to be able to just ignore the trolls. I would love to be able to have the grace and the forethought who's able to ignore them, right? But I can't. And I also realized this year, and the importance of what you said about not ignoring the trolls is huge for me, because honestly, I felt like it was another form of oppression and white supremacy for me to be forced to close my mouth and get hit quietly in a corner. Like, just shut up and take it. You know, nobody's going to work with you. You're unprofessional if you speak up for yourself and defend yourself against hordes on the internet. And I'm like, they're on my Instagram, they're on my YouTube, they're going after my Facebook, they're going after my family, they're doxing my information on the internet, they're taking photos and photoshopping them, they're dropping pictures of my kids on Reddit. No, I'm not going to ignore this. And it felt very crazy to me. And I think that me being vocal about it made other people feel they could speak up more about it. And it also takes away the stigma that there's something wrong with us. I lost a couple of jobs this year. I had 3 people, and I lost 3 jobs to be particular, which I won't name them, but they pulled away from me during the time I was being harassed and said they didn't want to be involved in the drama.
Right.
And to me, that was so hurtful, because it wasn't drama. I didn't create for these people to come target me and to harass me. Being a victim of abuse and harassment doesn't make you somebody who's got drama around you. And the stigma of that and what that does to Black creators and what that does to Black women was really gross to me. And I can only imagine how many disabled creators have been told to take it on the chin and to be the bigger person when no one is ever the bigger person to us. And it just feels like it comes from a place of privilege, and it comes from a place of oppression. And this year, I wanted to change the narrative around how people dealt with that. And I did, I feel like, loudly, much to my own detriment at times. But I know how many people slid into my DMs and said, thank you for speaking up about my abuser. I don't feel safe enough to speak up about it, or blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I heard so many things in my DMs that reinforced what I was doing was right, even though I felt deeply alone and deeply isolated. And I was going through some mental health crisis for a while because of it. And I had to like reach deep in my own personal faith and kind of just be like, oh, it's a storm. I got to weather this. But please know, if you're watching and you didn't support me publicly, I took note of that. I took note of that. I am not above being petty. And in 2021, when you see me shining, don't come clap me on the back. Go sit in the corner where you stayed the whole time while I was getting railed. So I feel like it's important to hear white men say that very much. Like, don't take that in the corner. Do speak up and fight the trolls. Because somebody coming in and saying, oh, you're fat, is different than 5,000 people targeting you on the internet, or, you know, more than thousands. Because you come in and you call me fat. Baby, I'm going to be fat forever. I'm going to be Black when I wake up tomorrow. I'm going to be loud, and I'm still going to swear. So these are things that they're not going anywhere. But to literally just be so violent to people and hateful is just, especially because of the type of communities you and I foster. I believe in radical kindness and the transformative power of radical kindness, and being accepting and fostering safe spaces that are not just inclusive, but are accepting on the internet. and you are the very same way.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to be inclusive in everything, and we focus so much on kindness and love and bringing genuine feeling into our spaces. It's wild as hell that people hate us so much, right?
It is weird. It's it like, I just don't understand how people can sort of like pay back kindness with hate. The currency just does not match up. And and it just like, and that was sort of the thing too, like another thing I learned from the Spawn on Me is that when you all kind of had that call to action at the end there, it's like, okay, if like it's more than just sort of using the hashtag Black Lives Matter. It's more than just sort of just being there for when these events happen. It's being there for the people that are knocked down, and like they not only do they need a helping hand to be able to get back up, but also to basically be like to stand over them whenever they're just being attacked. And I'm so upset, disappointed, but proud that essentially that I could have done that for you. I mean, we both have the same sort of similar beliefs. It's like you love others how you want to be loved, and and it sometimes it just when that hatred kind of comes, we just need to kind of stand together and just sort of and you mentioned sort of about like kind of being lonely in those times, and I felt lonely in certain times this year for sure. I mean, the fact that we've all been kind of working from home or just home a lot more has kind of sort of isolated a lot of us. But in a way, it also like it kind of even going into the gaming side. The gaming kind of brought us all together and kind of made us feel like we're together. And I'm very glad that I was able to meet people like yourself, people like Nega Oryx and Rocco, and just getting to know people in my own sort of community, and getting to know Khalif more, and Cam and Blessing and Callie, and there's so many amazing people in this industry, and I will be a very I will always be there for you when things happen, and know that even though you may be kind of walking through a dark place, know that you're not walking alone. And that's something.
Okay, don't make me cry, Steve.
So,
Steve.
I'm about to cry too, and I've cried
Steve,
enough. I've cried enough on the internet this year.
I have too, and I just love you, Steve. And I will say this: I was very much going through a severe mental health crisis like a couple of weeks ago. And you are one of very few, which is kind of sad, but very few people really slid into my DMs and were like, "Are you okay? What can I do? Can I like pray with you? Can I talk to you? Can I encourage you? Can I buy you? Can I send you money for booze or weed?" Like people were offering. You know, there were some people that did it, but so many didn't that I would have done it for in a heartbeat. And I think that really put me in a weird place. But then out of nowhere, when I felt my lowest, there were people like you, like, "Hey, just checking in." And people like Rocco, who popped out of nowhere, who now I can't imagine not being friends with Rocco. Like, that's my best friend, obviously. Like, I can't imagine the people that showed up. And they didn't just show up in a little way. They showed up in a big way for me. And I know this sounds weird, but you probably will agree with me as a disabled creator. It's one thing to shout BLM from the rooftops. It's one thing to shout you support accessibility from the rooftops. It's another thing for you to invite us into your communities and to game with us and to hang out with us and to collaborate and create with us. Not just use us for likes and clicks and farm for our existence, but to genuinely want to see us in your space. There is something so powerful and so meaningful in asking me to come on your stream and play games with you. There's something that says, "I want you in this space. Let me bring you into this space with me," that I feel like is so much more powerful than hashtag BLM. I feel like something so real about wanting to see Black people in your spaces, not just the way that you say how much you love us, but when you're gaming or when you're collaborating with all these huge creators, there's no black folks in there, you know, like there's no
mhm.
disabled creators in there. You're just using us on the internet to look cool.
Yeah.
But there's people like Rocco, other people who pull us in and say, hang out with us. I'd love to have you meet our community. Da 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 da. And that means so much more to me than a hashtag, because then you see me as a living, breathing person. And when you say Black Lives Matter, that's one thing. But when you have no Black lives in your life, this is what's so important, you know?
Yeah, and that's something that I've had to like learn this year in of itself. As I'll fully admit, I mean, I grew up in an area in Canada where there was barely when I in the school that I grew up in, or at least in the area that I grew up in, there was barely anybody of color. It was mostly white, and I don't know if I had ever even thinking back kind of in my childhood, I don't remember seeing anything racist, but it was sort of like it was. I just remember that it was so rare to be able to see anyone of color. I think in my elementary school, going from kindergarten all the way to grade 6, I think I probably had seen 3 people who were anyone had any color other than white. And I wasn't until my dad was a children's pastor growing up. So he basically would run a lot of the Sunday schools in the churches that we would be a part of, and he would run these after school programs for kids in sort of low income areas in our city. And I was basically I was helping him pretty much for like a good 20 basically the first 20 years of my life. It was mainly just to help him with whatever program he was doing. And we would go into these areas and we would set up like this truck that we would sort of lay down it like on the side and have like the stage, and we would sort of put together these really cool programs for them. And I would start to see more kids basically come, and families come to these things. And it was the first, I do remember I was kind of taken aback. I was like, oh, there's a lot more like black people here. And I'm like, I didn't realize that. It's just because I just wasn't like exposed to it as a kid. And even like moving to Toronto, which is where I'm at right now, it's like 52% of our population is from different areas of the world. We have a very large Jamaican, Nigerian, and Caribbean sort of population in this area, and it was the first time I was kind of like seeing that on a day-to-day basis. But I never really and I was like, okay, cool. Like I like this is awesome. I like seeing like more kind of diverse backgrounds, but I never really kind of fully understood what that meant until this year, or what it would felt like to kind of be in those communities until this year. Because like you said it, like it's Black Lives Matter is more than just a hashtag, and I really kind of took that to heart this year. It's like, okay, you know what? I can't just sort of like just tweet out a hashtag and then and think that that's it. Great, racism is solved. No, that's I can't.
So reductive. So
exactly.
reductive.
It just basically is just shouting into a void. And with like, this was like when I saw that Spawn on Me episode, it was before kind of everything blew up for me. But then when things started to happen, I just started to realize, no, I can't just sort of leave it at just the hashtag. It needs I need to like find more people like yourself like in this community, and and I love being like, I love finding new friends in new communities that I've never been sort of exposed to, and I'm just like, yes, great. I love being able to sort of just hang out with all y'all, and I'm like, I am so happy to be able to call you friend, like a Blessing, Ka and Cam and Pika and even Paris, like just and Rihanna, and like it just all these amazing black creators in this space. I'm like, yes. That is so cool. Like I now, it feels so good to just kind of like, oh man, I now like I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, but essentially it comes down to, I'm like, I am so blessed to basically be a part of all y'all community, and I will always gladly stand up for all of you when you need it. And we're all in this together, and I will do whatever it takes to be able to make sure that we all stay together, if that makes sense.
No, I'm here too. I'm ride or die.
Okay,
Yes.
like
Ride or die.
I mean,
yes.
that's what it is. Ride or die. I mean, that's what it is, and it's crazy how that does that. I mean, hashtags help bring visibility to stuff, and they help maybe raise some awareness, and I get that. But there's this thing, whenever somebody says things are a movement, I think we forget that that's an action. Movement is an action. We're activists. We're doing an action. So what's an action you can do to talk about this stuff?
Yeah.
Welcome us in. Share your space with us. Don't base your space around that you're an ally, but not actually befriend and be an ally. It's weird to just hold us separate from your space. I just find that so, it rings false to me.
Yeah.
When you're this big person, because there's a lot of big people who have big platforms who've been talking about BLM this year.
Yep.
And their actions, yes, they're giving to charity. Yes, they're hashtagging away. But where are the Black people in their communities and their spaces? What are, you know something I've said, because you consume my content. So I always say I'm putting a little sugar in white supremacy's gas tank, right? That's something I always say. I put sugar in white supremacy's gas tank every day. What are you doing to put a little sugar in white supremacist gas tank every day? How are we dismantling white supremacy in our spaces? Because it is rampant in the game space. If anything that I have seen during my short time here, it's that it is overwhelmingly rampant. And it is not just a small pocket of the internet. It is a large portion of it. It is a portion of our leadership in this country. It is a portion of everything. So what are you doing? So I definitely have seen more movement to that this year. Let's talk about some of the high points this year, though. I want to hit some of your favorite. What are some of your favorite things you've done this year that like you loved so much that like blew your mind that you did it?
Well, two things definitely come to mind. The first that kind of really started it all, which I knew was sort of coming, but I didn't expect it to happen in the way that it did, was when The Last of Us 2 came out. And as some people sort of like, as controversial as that game can be, I think pretty much we all agree that the accessibility in that game was unprecedented. It was something that we had not seen before, and I did have a hand in helping with that. Last year, I was invited out to their studio to basically help consult with them on it, and I was very proud to be a part of the group of consultants for that. But what I didn't expect was, before everything happened, I received a review copy of the game so that I can be able to do a review video on it, and I recorded a reaction video. I wasn't intending actually to put it up, and I don't know if I told you this, Zombae, but like literally 5 minutes before I posted that video, I wasn't going to post it. I had no intentions of posting it.
What? You weren't going to post it?
No, similar kind of what we had been talking about, was that I was afraid essentially that the internet will kind of eat me alive. I've seen what it can do to people basically who show their emotions on the internet, and it was with the encouragement of friends and family that they were like, no, Steve, you have to post this. And I was like, okay. And I thought I was gonna do some sort of reaction. I didn't expect the reaction that it did get, and even just like hearing from people that I have admired in this industry for so long. And people who were involved with the game, like pretty much I've probably heard from almost every department of Naughty Dog, from all the developers I worked with, plus Neil Druckmann, plus Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, even Cory Barlog from Sony Santa Monica kind of chimed in a little bit too. It was really crazy to see, and then to see that kind of like that essentially is kind of what blew up a lot of everything this year. Like literally my subscribers and my followers doubled overnight. And to a massive degree I didn't expect, and I think that kind of led to essentially the second highlight was I got to work with Xbox this year.
Yeah,
like, be in their global ad, which was
the coolest ad, the coolest one. I'm not biased. It really was the coolest, like sensory, oh my gosh, so cool.
It was so neat to be able to just like, because they asked the Xbox had reached out to me in August of this year, and it just like when they pitched it to me, it was sort of like it was too trippy of an experience to pass up. And so I was like, I had to kind of do it, and I didn't even know who else was involved with it. I didn't know until after it came out that Taika Waititi basically directed a short film based on someone's dreams, and also Odell Beckham Jr. was a part of this too, which I did not expect. So it just was kind of cool to basically be in that, like as a part of that, and kind of part of like it just a small thing of Xbox like just reaching out, and it wasn't even necessarily accessibility related, it was adjacent, and it was the first time that a company worked with me as an influencer in this space. And I've always kind of worked with people from an accessibility standpoint. I've been on shows representing sort of accessibility, but this is the first time that I got to sort of be a part of something that it was accessibility related with the 3D audio, but it wasn't it was sort of like they reached out to me because of me, and that was like two of the biggest things. And of course, like there's a bunch of others, but I like it just like it just those are the two biggest things for this year alone. But I want to hear about you, because I love just your stories about of all the stuff that's happened to you this year.
Where can I start? Okay. Okay, so Spawn on Me obviously was the tipping point for me for everything, because I had met Khalif through a friend of mine, but Khalif and I hadn't got to interact really other than on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So then he asked me to be on Spawn on Me, and I went on Spawn on Me. It was just myself. And I was not ready for what would happen the next day when I woke up after Spawn on Me. The fact that we were on the front page of GameSpot, and that they then rebroadcasted Spawn on Me on the front page of Twitch to 30,000 viewers. And then all of a sudden, everything got wild really, really fast for me. And it was just like, next thing you knew, I was top 10 Black content creators to watch. And it was like, what is happening? I only have 5 people watching me every day.
Yeah.
I am literally some tiny little streamer who plays really obscure games on Mixer, and I have always talked so passionately about stuff that I love, but nobody ever cared on the internet. Like in my real life, I'm an activist and I do all these things outside of stream, and people care, but like on the internet they're just like, shut up and play video games. So like I definitely think Spawn on Me was obviously one of the best things, because I also got to meet people that I hold very dear to my heart now. Like, so that was really important. And then I guess, I don't know, everything that happened, being on IGN, Beyond, and I was on Good Morning America.
That was so dope. Oh my God.
So Good Morning America. I was in Time magazine this year. By the way, just a plot twist, I might end up on CNN next year. We don't know.
Ooh.
But Xbox was probably my second biggest moment for real, because it was the biggest moment of validation for me as a gamer. And I'll tell you why. Oh, we just got a really big raid. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome in. This is Steve Saylor, wonderful accessibility advocate and dear sweet friend of mine. And then, me, I'm Zombaekillz. I make big, fat, black, chaotic content here on Twitch. Hello. Welcome in. Still making big, fat, black, chaotic content currently. So I guess for me, the moment that Xbox emailed me and said, hey, we're sending you an Xbox, I couldn't breathe, and I literally stood up from my desk, and I went back and I literally got down on my knees, and I was like, thank you. I was really thankful. So if you don't know me, I pray a lot. If you don't know that about me, yes, I swear I cuss a little, but I love Jesus. And And I don't know, it hit like my, you know, the jelly in your body, like it just
Yeah.
hit me like, oh my god, I think I've made it. I think I'm like, I think maybe I've made it. Which Good Morning America didn't do that to me the same way that getting that Xbox did, because it meant that they saw me. It meant that they saw black people. It meant that they saw black women. It meant that they saw blackness as like a viability that they were going to support in the game space. And I was going to be one of very few black women who got the console. I mean, I was one of the first 2 black women to get the console in the United States. So what the heck?
Yeah, I think actually I might have been the first disabled person to get
You
an
were.
Xbox. Yeah.
You were. And I was wilding because you and I had just broke the craziest barriers.
Holy
period.
cow, I didn't even
'Cause I
think
was the
about
first-
that. Oh, wow.
Steve, I was the first black woman non-games media to get one in the States. And you were the first disabled creator in the States. Like, we broke huge barriers this year. Like, and then to top it off, PlayStation sent me, the first black woman in America outside of major games media, a PlayStation.
Yep. I think I was the first disabled person to get both too.
No! Look at us!
Holy shit!
Look
wow!
at us, Steve!
Oh
when
my
you
god!
say it like that, there's so much power, and there's so
Yeah.
much power in that. Like, there's so much power in that, and it's so emotional. There was just so much power in that. Looking at you and looking at me, and I'm like, I got one too, and you're like, I got one too, and I was just sitting there like, look at what we did.
Yeah.
Now they're not just gonna just keep sending it to us, because it's not about us sending it to us, because I don't give a dang about it. I could have bought one, you could have bought one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about the fact, Steve, that they're going to go look at disabled creators as viable reviewers and worthy of getting these consoles and seeing us in there.
Yep.
Oh, he wasn't the, okay, there you go. Cannot confirm that, okay, Super Blind Man says, you were not the first disabled creator to get one? Well, was he the first?
No, he was the
player?
first to get a PlayStation 5. I think I was one of the first to get both Xbox and PlayStation together.
There we go.
But I did remember that Courtney Craven at CanIPlayThat.com. We both basically at the same. So we're one of the first few disabled creators to be
in the first few, like me.
Yeah.
Like I was in the first 2 black women stateside, because I know it was me and another one who was games media. She's games media.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's crazy. And so then it grew, you know, and then like Nay Saga was, I think, the first black woman over in the UK to get one, right? And so it was like, okay, so this is happening. They're seeing us, and now more. And everybody got so angry that I said now more. But it wasn't about me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's about seeing our communities as viable, like, we have buying power, we're viable, we are gamers, we're valid in the game space. This was about validation. Hey, blind creators getting Xboxes, disabled creators getting Xboxes, and special controllers. We're getting, black creators are getting both. And it wasn't about it because there were a lot of black men who got the Xbox. Not a lot, to be fair, it's not a lot. I think it was like, not a lot. Especially not a lot that weren't celebrities.
Right.
But then there was no black women when we looked around. There was none. There was none of us. To think that there was none of us before this was kind of crap.
Yeah.
And that space was, to think that it went these people, black women. And another one of my friends mentioned that she had never seen trans people get one, a trans creator get one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was like, that's valid. You want to see yourself. I wanted to see me.
I think that's like, because we've always been so used to sort of like the traditional, like in games media being like, oh yeah, the big sort of outlets will get them, and sort of the big people in the kind of that side in that space will get them, and they'll talk about them, because but it was, this year was kind of the first time we got to see sort of the marginalized communities be involved too, and we like in a space where like we don't see that happen, and like, and just the fact that also like like even our side in the disabled community, we've seen like a lot of like people know who we are, and that is something that we kind of always, like, not always, but we've just been in sort of like the background of the gaming industry for quite some time. And to see now that like people like myself and Super Blind Man and Cherry Thompson and Ian Hamilton and Courtney Craven and Can I Play That and Steven Spawn, like it was just all, we're all like not only just like recognized just as part of this community and helping to make this accessibility happen and make this community better, but we're also getting recognized in a massive way. Like also the highlight for me this year was being in the future class for the Game Awards, and being there alongside like some amazing people. And Zombae, I'm making an effort to, I want to make sure you're in the future class for next year, 1000%.
I feel like I should have been there, but that's fine.
You should have been there for this year, 1,000. Yeah, 100%. Do you
know why I figured I wasn't there? Do you know why I figured I wasn't there? I'm too real, Steve. Steve, I'm too real.
Too real for Jeff Keighley. I get it. Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
I should have been on that list first.
You should have been on that list.
I know I should have been on that list.
You should have been on that list.
And I want you to know that you're the only person that has publicly said I should have been on that list. And I know damn well I earned a seat on that list. And I didn't get on that list because I don't play no fucking politics with these people. I never will. I will never be digestible for y'all. Y'all finna have to choke me down with a whole glass of water. That's fine. I'll keep kicking in doors and you'll keep seeing me in places you thought you locked me out of every time. Because I know personally how many people put me in for that. And I know damn well you know who I am. And you know what I've done. And next year, you gonna have to let me in that piece. That's fine. We'll talk about then. It's fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
But we'll talk about then. But I know, things like that do hurt though. When I saw that, I was so happy for my friends. And then I was also like, y'all still don't let me in your space?
Yeah.
Because I don't play the way that you want me to play. I don't polish every tweet at all. I will be transparent and authentic no matter what, and there is a reason behind what I do. It is harmful to perpetuate these levels of perfection and what you consider professionalism daily in this game space. There are harmful images that are unattainable to people, and they need to see that I am a real, living, breathing person every day. I owe that to my platform. I owe that to my audience. I owe everything that I have to being this person all the time. And I'll be damned if I start churching it up so that I can get into certain areas. I'm never going to do that. And if it ain't for me, then it ain't for me. And when that future class came out, there was a part of me that like clenched up, and I was like, everything I've done this year, everything I've been this year, and y'all still don't see me and think that I am somebody in the space who's working for diversity and inclusion in the future class? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There was part of me that also realized this is a popularity contest.
Yes. I will agree with that.
And baby, I ain't never been popular, Steve. I am just not a popular type of girl.
Neither have I.
I'm not, because I will cuss you out when I gather you up about things just as fast as I'll hug you, because people need to see real transparent people. They need to see me at my best, and they need to see me at my worst. As an influencer, I have a power to influence people, and I feel like it would be wildly irresponsible if the only image I portrayed to the front was me being happy 24/7. Me being overly positive all 24/7. Like, I feel like me not being my most authentic self would be so much bullshit I would be shoveling down from my platform that it wouldn't be worth it for me to be an influencer. Yeah. I believe that I owe my platform to my transparency and to being my most authentic self, and I'll continue to do that. So no, I won't get every job. I won't get all the super cool activations in the space, but I did get an Xbox.
Yeah, you did.
I did get a PS5.
And
I did make waves. And the biggest thing for me out of 2020, honestly, was that Gathalion, my my gaming idol, like my biggest, like he's my like, you know, I guess my kids like Preston Plays from YouTube, right? Like they think Preston Plays is amazing. One of my other kids thinks Ninja is everything. Gathalion's like my ninja, and he became my friend this year.
That's so dope.
He liked my Xbox tweet and like was like, "Get it, girl! Like keep going." And I like could not believe it. It was all the validation I needed in the world, all of it. It was like, "Baby, I've made it. You can't tell me shit. I am kicking ass and I'm taking names and like I'm killing it in this piece." And then on top of it, when I was going through all that harassment and all the bullshit, Gathalion came up underneath the comments when people were just saying horrible things to me and was like, I hate that this is happening to you. This should not be happening to you.
Yeah.
Right? And then people came for Gathalion. And Gathalion said, I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm a millionaire. Please stop talking to me. Which is honestly my mood for 2021. It is honestly my mood for 2021. But then he slid into my DMs and he said to me something really sweet and really, really kind, which showed me his character. He said, normally I have advice for streamers, you know, and he's like, and I'm sorry what you're going through. He goes, but I could never understand and I can't give you advice. He's like, I'll never know what it's like to be Black and a woman in this space. But what I can tell you is, I don't want to do this for backpacks or whatever. He's like, but my resources are your resources. If you need a contact or a connect, or if I can help you, let me know. Which I never will do ever. But like, it was the fact that he did it that meant so much to me in the midst of that horrible storm, which is still ongoing. But like, I literally broke down and just sobbed. I couldn't believe and that was like, you know what I'm saying? That somebody of that level saw what was going on and was like, F this. First of all, I'm gonna pipe up about it. And second of all, I'm going to offer resources. Let me help you. And that, I don't know, that meant a lot. So I think that's my biggest moments. But honestly, there's so many quiet moments of this year, and I'm sure you'll agree, in friendships, like in learning moments. I have learned so much from you, Steve. I have learned so much from watching you. I've learned so much from listening to you, from listening to Super Blind Man. Like the other day, he was talking to me about stuff that I don't even think about because I'm ignorant. You know, there's just things I don't think about because I'm ignorant. And I will be the first to say I'm super fallible. I'm super flawed. Like, I will make so many mistakes.
As we all are.
But saying things like, hey, by the way, you just put that picture in here, but I have no idea what that picture means. Please go add alt text to a picture. And I was just like, oh, I'm a jackass. You know, like, I don't even think that. And I just learned so much, and I feel so blessed that I get to be around people with such big brain energy all the time, and that don't just give me such big brain energy, but they give me perspective of self and perspective outside of self. I can turn around and look at things now from y'all and just go, okay, I'm learning. I'm gonna make mistakes and I'm gonna forget because I have ADHD, so I'm neurodivergent as hell, and I'm wildly out of control ADHD, but I'm learning these things and I've implemented them into my streams, and it's helped my reach. I now have people in my community who are hearing impaired or vision impaired, and they're like, hey, by the way, you put this thing on your screen the other day and I can't see it really well because the text was really messed up. Could you help me? Blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, by the way, you didn't have closed captionings on the other day, so I didn't know this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, let me go turn that on or find a way to make sure it's always on. And I'm learning so many things. And it's not just helping me grow, but it's helping like my actual job grow. Like my reach grows too. So it's like a win-win when you do these things. And that's what people don't understand, I think. And they don't look at it that way. But like, accessibility just means you're also growing your reach in your community. There's lovely people out there that could be a part of your community that are being left out because you're not being accessible. Like,
yeah, and I mean, that's why we love people like yourself that are able to like sort of talk about that kind of stuff, because of the accessibility is kind of something that you could be ignorant for it, but we never sort of like fault you for like we're upset that like, oh, this person doesn't have it, because we understand that it's just like when you don't know, and you can't fault someone for that. So when we can, like I said before, educate people to be able to be like, hey, we would love to be able to like consume your content. Could you be able to enable this? Like the fact that like there's not a lot of people that will take what you did and basically made sure that your streams are like, and your content is accessible as you possibly can with the bandwidth that you have available to you. That is something that is so treasured in our community, because we talk to like other creators all the time and asking them to be able to like, hey, can you just like turn on captions, like, or just like, or something just to kind of help out, and they don't, and they never do.
It's wild to me. That's so wild, Steve.
Yeah.
Why?
And it's just
it's a win for everyone.
It totally is a win for everyone. And so when we do see people that like take that and like rant and run with it, and that is something like, is like, yes, that feels like that. Okay, there's someone that's kind of like that's on our side, that is a friend, that is an ally, and that just means a lot to us. So like thank you for doing that, because that honestly does mean a lot to definitely like, and you're right, it definitely expands beyond just your own community. Like it kind of entices more people to kind of tune in, being like, okay, if there's captions enabled, or if there's it's sort of blind friendly or whichever, like it helps sort of allow us to kind of feel welcome in your communities. And there's very few communities that do that, and yeah, you're one of those amazing communities that do that. So thank you for that.
I'm learning though. If you see things, you can always approach me, please. And like, please approach me if I can make things better. I always will. And one of the things I love that I've learned like this year is that, and I can speak from experience, it has only helped me. My biggest engaged tweet, besides my Xbox pimp tweet, which was pretty great, my biggest engaged tweet, other than my like petty Xbox tweet, was my accessibility video that I made on putting captions on your stream and how quick and easy it could be. Mm-hmm. I got something like 170,000 impressions on that tweet. Like,
yeah, honestly, here's the thing too, is I remember seeing that, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even think of that. Like, like, it was something like it took like someone like yourself to be like, hey, this is cool. This is something that I've learned, and I need to share it. Like I'm like, I didn't even like, it was literally like, I didn't even think of that. I'm like, damn, good on you, Zombae. Like that was so cool. And then also, like, didn't you like?
It's because it was so exciting.
Yeah, did you write an article about that too?
I did. I wrote an article for Tom's Hardware about it, and I also made a YouTube video for Tom's Hardware about it, because I wanted to try to not just use my reach, but to use my platform given to me by Tom's Hardware to try to raise some light on, hey, if you're a streamer, please use accessibility stuff because of you, like because of our friendship. Like, I have learned, and I'm trying to use my platform not just for me, because like I say, I'm not just here for Black women. Like, love us, we rock. Mm-hmm. I support us above all else. But like, when I talk about marginalized communities and marginalized people, I mean all of us. I mean trans, LGBTQI, LGBTQIA, I mean disabled, I mean indigenous, I mean Latino, I mean everyone. I mean people of color. I mean the whole of us as marginalized peoples. Do my plight and my troubles affect me the most, and I can speak to them with the most enriched experience and like lived experience? Yes. Mm-hmm. But where I can, I am learning and gleaning from my friends so that I can raise awareness about things that I just was ignorant to my time on these platforms. And I want to continue to do that with my platform, because my platform has been getting crazy. Oh, my other big thing this year, Steve, getting partnered at
I was about to say, I think you missed that. I was earlier. I was like, yes, getting partnered. That is so cool.
And let me tell you that story, because I almost didn't do it, Steve.
What?
I almost didn't do it. Okay, so Twitch sends me this email, and they're like, hey, we're gonna spotlight like 10 affiliates in a 15-minute segment and talk about people on the platform and like how much you love being an affiliate on Twitch and what you love about your community, and like give you a chance to kind of like bring some viewers in. And I was like, okay, cool. But as it got closer to it, I thought to myself, this seems stupid. And I had planned And I had planned myself a getaway at a cabin that weekend. I was going out of town, and that cabin had 0 internet service. It's like on this big farm, and there was nothing there. And I was just going to go decompress because my year had been so wild. I just wanted a break. And so then they messaged me, hey, it's going to be on Saturday. And it was the Saturday that I'd booked this trip. And I was like, I really don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if it's worth it to me to do this while like mentally I'm kind of tired and exhausted. I should just say no, and I should just go to this cabin and spend time by myself. But then I was like, man, it's GlitchCon. This could be really cool. And what if it brings some new people? So I was like, forget it. I'll just go live with the potato internet. I'll bring some of my setup, and I'll try to use like the McDonald's Wi-Fi that they said they have there, because they were like, it is very unreliable. Please don't try to work from here. And I was like, I'll try to use it. And they told me it was only gonna be 10 minutes. That's it. Blah blah blah. Well, 10 minutes before I was supposed to go live in their green room, the fire alarm at the rental place went off because I was trying to make food and I burned it. And it was one of those ones that you have to punch in a code to make it stop going off. And the people weren't answering their phone to make the fire alarm start going off. So everything was in a panic. I was just panicking. My anxiety is really bad. I have anxiety I take medication for. So I started having a panic attack. I was like crying. I was like, and my hair got messed up the night before because I got it wet in the hot tub and all the color came out of my hair the night before. So
I remember you tweeted about that. Yeah.
I was so upset, Steve. I was so upset. Everything went wrong. And so I was like, literally right before, I was like, I was like hyperventilating. I was like, F this. I'm not going to make this video. I can't make this. I'm not going to go on this stupid thing. And I called my best friend. My best friend was like, you've got to do it. Just go on there. You look fine. Your hair looks wonderful. Just go. And so I went on there, and my video was all glitched out. And I went on and I got partnered live in front of 178,000 people.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
And my camera glitched out. I saw that out. If you've seen the video, my camera glitched because when they were saying it, I could only hear so much of the audio. And somebody said, "Oh, they look like partners." Blah blah blah. And I was just like, "What's happening?" Because it was all glitchy and the frame rates were all bad. And then I was like, wait a second, are they calling me a partner? Are they calling me a partner? I think they're calling me a partner. And I saw the chat start exploding. I was like, I'm a partner!
Oh
and
my God.
and it was probably like the most surreal moment because I didn't dare to dream. And I'll say this. And before 2020, and up until Spawn on Me, with the life that I have lived, I have lost over time through trauma and sadness, etc., my ability to dream. I've never wanted for myself at all anymore. I stopped wanting for myself. And I live for my kids. I want for them. I dream for them. But I had just lost sense of self. I had lost sense of wanting for myself. And hitting that partner button was super powerful because all of a sudden I felt like, and my community pushed me so hard to do it. If you've seen the video, like I have it up on YouTube, it was them pushing me to do it and then pushing me to like dream. And I kept thinking I was going to fail. I was 100% certain I was going to get that partner rejection letter, which I did get, by the way, the day after they partnered me. I got a rejection letter.
That's hilarious.
And so I think something switched in my person right after that, because that was in November, right? So it hasn't been long. It just feels like a million years because it's 2020. But I've dared to dream, and I think that's the one thing, like my biggest takeaway from 2020, I guess, the biggest thing is that I regained my ability to dream this year. Like I regained my ability to say, I can reach for these things, and you and we've done it. We've been like, we're gonna reach for this. Like, F it, let's go team.
I gotta tell you, I relate to that so fucking much. So I don't think I've ever talked to this before, but I don't think I've even really said a lot of this publicly before. But January of last year, 2019, I got laid off from working in radio. I was a digital content producer for 2 large radio stations in Toronto, and I was laid off. I had that job for it would have been that year going on 10 years of being in that job.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and I was doing Blind Gamer kind of on the side, and there was some things happening, but I always kind of thought of it as sort of a side gig, and because radio was my dream as a kid. I was like, I worked towards that. I went to college for it. I graduated top of my class for it. Like I was fully prepared to basically be in the radio industry for the rest of my life, and then having that being taken away from me was it was like a massive gut punch. And I will tell you, I broke down massively that the beginning of last year. I to the point where there was a chance that I may not have been here today. It pretty much almost got that far. And I decided, with some help with some friends and family, they helped me sort of get through it. I mean, I knew it was going to be okay for a little bit. I mean, severance package being what it was nice, and it was enough for me to last for a while. But through some friends' encouragement, I was able to not only get through that, but basically allow myself to fully invest in something that I didn't know it was going to work out. I had no idea if the accessibility thing was going to work out at all. I was like, you know what? This is the only thing I have going for me, and this is the only thing I can hold on to. I'm going to hold on to it and see how far I can go. And I was fully prepared to basically, by the beginning of this year, to pack it all in, because with COVID happening, the week that COVID happened, I was supposed to be in San Francisco at the Game Developers Conference. I had like all the past, I had set up meetings with a bunch of different developers. I was fully on board to basically, like, last year I was like, okay, last year was the groundwork. I'm going to work on this, and 2020 was going to be my, like, okay, I've laid the groundwork, now let's hit the ball running and go. And then when COVID happened, I was stuck. I did not know what to do, and you said it 100% right. I did not know what to dream for anymore. I thought I had my dream. I thought I had my dream in radio. I thought that was it. I didn't know that, like, accessibility was sort of the thing that I felt like I was put on this planet to do. And then as things started to kind of happen, and slowly over the course of this year, so many things had happened that I don't think would have happened at all. And it just, like, you were absolutely right. Like, just the things that we both got to do, it was like a dream come true from a dream we didn't know we had. And
yes, oh my gosh, yes.
And I feel in 2021 that, I mean, like, I'm assuming, like, you know, we have to have new dreams. We need to find new dreams, because we kind of fulfilled a lot of them, if not all of them this year.
All of them. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Same. Same.
And I think it's magical, right? Like, I think there's this thing to be said for, like, being so grateful, because I think, I don't know, I find so many people they're just not rooted in gratitude. And gratitude is a huge part of my person because of the things that I've been through in my life. And a lot of people know, like, my struggles and the things that I've been through, who are people on my channel. But like I said, I lost my ability to dream. And I just didn't think I was worthy of dreams. I think now I've seen that. Like, I didn't think I was a person of value, or that I would ever be a person who was valued enough to have the capability to dream. And I know that sounds crazy, but the idea of dreaming of being a content creator that people cared about, or that they wanted to watch, I feel so blessed. I feel so blessed. And I'm new here, and you're new here, and, like, it's incredible. We're so it's rad, and we work so hard. A lot of people don't see the behind the scenes work that I do, or that you do, and it can be very exhausting. It can be very draining, and on top of the emotional things that we deal with, being marginalized creators in this space, like, a couple of weeks ago, when all that harassment from the quartering started, and those other people started towards myself, like I said, I went into mental health crisis. And if it wouldn't have been for my therapist, and B, some people in my life who reached out in those dark moments and uplifted me, I was going to quit streaming. I just thought maybe it's not worth it. I'm so not wanted in this space, and I'm so pushed out of this space, and my heart's too raw for this space, right? And I care too much, and I want to have this space of kindness, and kindness is so not a huge thing in this space. It's just not. And I felt so beat down by that. And then all of the sudden, it just, I think it just clicked with me again a few days ago. I was watching Soul, which I have very mixed feelings about, but I was watching Soul. And I've been really struggling the past few weeks onto not purpose, but just like finding joy in all these small moments. And that's kind of why you and I had talked about doing this year in review, because we had so many big moments, but the quiet small moments are, I think, the ones that sustained us the most.
Mm-hmm.
Just achieving so many dreams. I only had one dream that I didn't achieve. One dream that I didn't achieve in 2020.
What was it?
I won't say it. I can't say it. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to hold out that it'll happen in 2021.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
I only had one goal. I only had one secret goal. But I think that, like, to have these dreams is such a powerful thing. And I think to encourage other people like us to have these dreams is important. Not like grindy being productive or being seen type of dreams, but dreams that like make your soul feel good. Like, yeah, I don't care about getting the Xbox like everybody thought I cared about on the internet because they're dumb. But what I cared about was that now people look at Black women in the space and they see us as viable options to be a part of these things. And then the same with for everything that I've done this year. The fact that I'm a smaller creator, because I am still so new in my content creation, I'm still trying to establish myself. The fact that I was able to make partners so fast, and I just hit 1,000 subs. That's incredible. That's awesome. And I hit 7,000 followers. 7,000 people they care about my content. Mm-hmm. That makes me feel at night when I lay down in bed, not because I care about likes or blah, 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 but because I know these people found space for me in their hearts. There's something that I said or did that touched their heart and made them click a button that maybe instilled them. Maybe I made them laugh, or maybe they thought I was silly, or maybe it was the fact that I'm brown and that I look like them, or maybe it's the fact that I'm fat and that I look like them. And so they clicked buttons. That's what means stuff to me. I don't give a damn if you like my selfies on the internet. I don't give a damn if you retweet all my weird takes at 3 a.m. when I can't sleep, or my ramblings about, any variants of things. I care about the like deep humanity that's kind of forgotten about in games. Yeah. And in content creation. And I really just want to continue to nurture that, because I want to be the soul in video games. I want to, like, that's what I want to be. And I've been thinking about that, like where my place is. And I think that's me. I think like I am the soul in video games. I am the person in video games. I am the crybaby in video games. I am the mess in games. I am the anxiety in gaming. I am the person and the soul that's here in this industry that pushes you to be productive, numbers oriented, and palatable. And I am none of those things. And I'm thriving in spite of it. And I feel happy about that. And I feel going forward into 2021, I'm more rooted in my sense of self in this space. And I feel really proud. We started Radically Kind Gamers, which I'm really proud of, is my stream team that I started. And I think that we're going to carve out some soul in our space. So I'm just really excited about that. And I think that that's the type of person you are too. It's why we've bonded so much and we've become such good friends. I think that dreaming is powerful, and I thought it was so cool that you worked with Xbox on dreams as we were having so many of our dreams coming true privately. Because plot twist, everybody, I kind of knew about the Xbox thing a little bit. He didn't tell me the details, but I knew it was popping off. Yep. And I was so excited. I thought it was, and I couldn't wait. And it was nothing like I was imagining in my head, Steve. There was nothing that could have prepared me for what that was versus what I kind of thought in my head. And I think it's powerful. I think 2020 has been a year of dreams, whether it's been crushed dreams due to the pandemic, immunocompromised and on chemo. This year has been hell. I have been in my house since February of this year. February. I haven't traveled. I haven't seen anybody. I had to homeschool all 3 of my children because of the fact that I'm so deeply immunocompromised and on immunotherapy medication. I can't let my kids go to school. I wouldn't have anyways because I'm not crazy. So like this year has been a year of dreams. Like some of our dreams are crushed this year. The fact that my kid was starting kindergarten this year, and my other kid was starting preschool, and my other kid was starting middle school. And they kind of had that taken from them. Kindergarten's super important. Middle school is super important. Those first years, those are big milestones. My kids had that taken from them this year. And I think back on all the different things we've like traded off this year. It's just been a year of dreams. Not good ones, not bad ones, just so many different types of dreams. And moving forward, is everything going to magically change at midnight? No. Not unless all of y'all start wearing a mask and start sitting your asses at home. Maybe then. But please wear a mask. Like, care about everybody, not just because you know somebody immunocompromised, but just to be a good steward. I know y'all. I know that's hard for y'all. Come on. And if I see you out, just so you know, if you're in my chat and I see your ass posting pictures of you partying publicly, I'm finna flame you in public. I think that we need to have dreams going forward. So I want to ask you, everything on the table, if you could do anything, your biggest thing that you want to do in 2021, if there were no caps, no limits, if you were the ninja of accessibility creators, and you could do anything, Steve, name some things that you really would love to do.
This will be the first time I've kind of talked about this publicly, because I kept thinking about it near the end of this year. Like, okay, I've kind of accomplished a lot of what I wanted to do. What left is there? And I think probably my biggest goal. Oh wow, this could be hard. This is hard to say. You're
so red right now, Steve. You're turning red.
I want to be I want to be a host at IGN.
You would be so good at that.
Yeah. I have the I feel like I have the experience. I have the expertise. It's and what I love to be able to do is not only just it gives me the opportunity to be able to talk about accessibility and hopefully be able to add a lot more accessibility into IGN, into their coverage, but also being one of the things I loved this year was being that advocate for people outside of the accessibility community, and basically like opening the door and opening a window, being like, this is an amazing community. This is like an amazing thing, like what accessibility is, and it's human, and there's a human aspect to it. And if I can be that face or that voice for an audience that never knew about accessibility or hadn't thought about accessibility in a certain way, I feel like I love being able to do that. And as cool as it has been to be able to like consult with games, and I would love to still be able to do that if opportunities come up, but I feel like being able to talk about it in an open conversation with more people is kind of something that I want to be able to do. And I feel like that being on IGN would sort of allow me to have that kind of platform. And yeah, that's that would be the ultimate dream for next year, is to be a host at IGN. Yeah, wow. I was nervous just to say that.
Okay, so that's your big dream, but like, what else? What? Give me a couple. Give me a couple here. I need a couple from you.
Okay.
I know that's the big one, and that's not even that unrealistic. IGN, please hit him up. Come on now. I told you, everyone needs a Steve.
I would say, just in general, I'd love to be able to see more conversations happen about accessibility, just in different sort of parts of the industry. I feel like that with The Last of Us this year, we finally got to hear about a lot of people got to hear about accessibility. For some people for the first time. For some, it's now kind of been a big part of that conversation. And I feel like that next year we're going to start. I hope and I dream for that we'll have more conversations like that. And will be like and within the, not only just from the development side, but also from just a gaming side, and just that is part of a conversation about a video game. We've had so many amazing advancements this year, and what's been great is we've had advancements year over year for the past several years, and now it feels like it's kind of like it's been blown up to a massive degree that I want to see more conversations happening. I want to see more coverage about accessibility in reviews and stuff, and if I can sort of help make that happen, that'd be cool. And even just kind of bring it down to even on a personal level, like being able to, I don't know, I love to be sponsored by someone. I don't know, like so I can do this as
Come on, tell us. Tell us.
I like it, just being able to be like, I don't know in any particular company, but it just sort of like, I just want to be sponsored that I could just make a living doing this, because I've been on freelance for 2 years, and I've as of 2021, I don't know what's coming up. I don't know what's where I still have savings, but I have no idea where that next paycheck is gonna be. But if I can have a sponsor to be able to either as a full-time gig or just sponsor to be able to keep me going as a content creator, that would be really cool too. And just so I could basically get to a point where I can be comfortable and not have to worry about sort of like from paycheck to paycheck, if that makes sense. I don't know, is that too, like, are those too small of a goals? I don't know.
I still feel like they're too small, but I love that they're small, because I'm the same way. You know that I'm the same way. Like, we talk and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to do, but I think that's good to be able to want a living doing want to earn a living doing what you love is not a wild dream. I know that it feels that way, because it feels that way to me too. Like, but to be able to dream for that is not crazy, Steve. It's not crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a way, like, it's so weird, because it's like I think you and I are both kind of at this threshold. It's like we've kind of accomplished a lot that we're at this threshold we've never been at before. So it's kind of hard to think, okay, what's beyond that? And that's kind of where I'm struggling. It's like, okay, like, where do I think beyond that? We've got to work with both Microsoft and Sony this year. And like, I don't know what's next.
I can't even imagine.
Nintendo, like, is that another?
Nintendo will never work with me. I cuss too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think they work with me either.
I love Nintendo so much. But they hate me. They don't hate me now, but I'm sure they will. But I think that the fact that you haven't been like scooped up yet with as much as I feel like you bring to the table is wild to me. Like, I just think you're such a wealth of resources, personality, intelligence, the best hair in games. You know how I feel. Seriously, I think that I think big things will come for you, and they've come for me without us even thinking and dreaming. I just want to dare to dream this year, because like this past year, 2020, I was not daring to dream. This is crazy. Like, if you'd have told me 8 months ago, because I've only been doing this officially as of today, 8 months. What? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've only been in the game space, Steve, for 8 months. Like, that to me is the wildest thing in the world. Like, half these people that I'm hanging out with, like Paris and Khan, all them, they're like, yeah, we've been doing this 15 years. I'm like, I'm like, hi, I got here this summer. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know, I don't know what to do. I think. Same.
I just don't know. I'm so grateful for what we've had.
Yeah.
Like, if you'd have told me that Logitech would sponsor me after I randomly like said crazy stuff on a podcast, I think if y'all don't know the story, I on Spun on Me's episode of Blackness made the comment very offhandedly because I speak in hyperbole and off the cuff, and I was like, Logitech probably won't call you for the headphones, and I was just using a brand. I was not like, talking about anything. I was talking about speaking your piece and not caring if the company sponsored you or not. And Logitech was like, yo, we'd absolutely like to call you for the headphones. And I was like, what? And they're like, our boss watched that clip of you all the way at a corporate level.
Wow. Damn.
And we'd like to help you out. What do you need? And I was shooketh. And then I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed.
Yeah,
I was so embarrassed. Steve. I was like, oh my God. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, in 2021, I want more people to ask me to be on their show, not to talk about blackness.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll add that, but not talk about necessarily accessibility. Just being,
yeah, like I'm fucking funny. Have me on your show to make you laugh and be silly. Have me on your show to talk about the games that I love, or have me on your show to talk about anything. Clothes, booze, liquor, rap music, whatever you want to talk about, friend. I mean, I could be there. But I do like talking about my otherness, and I think it's really important, and it's been something that I've gone so heavy on. But now I also want to just like show you me, and like I want to be seen for me. I want people to like want to talk to me because they like Zombae, like not because they want to be seen as like having somebody on that talks about these specific things all the time. So I think that's one of my things going forward in 2021 that I want. And I think to be able to make a living doing this is also important to me, especially since I'm immunocompromised and at home. So I'm launching my podcast. I'm starting a podcast. This is my first episode of it. This is technically my first episode of it.
Okay. I'm honored that I'm the first episode, but that's awesome. My God.
This is it. And it's called Zombaekillz.
And, that is such a great name. Oh my God. I love that so much.
Right?
That is so dope.
And I am hoping that I get to interview some people that I really look up to and talk about it. So this is going to be me doing that this year. So that's a big goal for me this year, is to like have my Zombaekillz sessions with people that I love and that I admire and that I think are creating kind spaces in the games industry. I figured, I don't know, I've tried my hand at this podcasting thing. I might be good at it. I don't know. But we've got another guest coming on for our second episode who wrote the graphic novel Black, about Black people getting their superpowers.
Yes.
I don't know if you... Yes, that's the author of that. The movie got picked up by Warner Brothers, so it's being made into a movie. And he agreed to come onto my show. So like, that's going to be like a big deal.
That is so dope.
It happened from me talking about my superpowers on Twitter. That's honestly.
Oh, that's where that came. Nice. I love that. Oh my God.
So it's gonna be great. And then I don't know. I would like to get, if I could dream real big, right? If there was no ceiling, and I said my ultimate like biggest dream, I would like to get a clothing or makeup sponsor that is for plus size women, like size inclusive.
Yeah.
So like, I'm a makeup artist. That was my day job before all of this happened. I've been a makeup artist for 20 years of my life. I love makeup. I love skincare. I love cosmetics. I always do my hair and my nails. You see me, Steve. You know how I be. And I wear Fashion Nova every single stream. I'm wearing it right now currently. I wear it every single stream. I've worn it every single stream for 8 months. So if Fashion Nova would notice me, I think that would be my biggest dream. Like, and like, that would be it. Like, I would die.
That would be so cool.
That would be it. And I think I think that's like it. Like I just want to be able to make a living just like you. Like I want to get sponsorships that line up with me ethically too, though.
Yep. Yep.
Like I'm really big on making sure that things line up with me morally and ethically. Like I like the fact that Logitech uses tech, and not only while they're using tech, their tech is focused on like sustainability. I like the fact that they work with so many disabled, Black, Latino creators. You know this. Me and you are both working with Logitech. Like we both are in the back rooms, and when I'm in those back rooms, I'm with people that I love and that look like me. So I love Logitech, and I will never leave them because they messed with me when I had 300 followers. They didn't care.
Yep.
And I love that. Yeah, I hope to work more with Xbox going forward. That's like a big dream. I don't know like what'll happen if they want to work with me more, but like I'm an Xbox junkie, despite the way the community has treated me behind all this Xbox nonsense. I want to continue to work more with them, and eventually, I want to voice act in a game.
Oh, you'd be so good in a game. That would be.
I just want to be like random girl in a bar that says suggestive things to somebody or cusses someone out. Like
yes, that would
right?
Be, oh my god, yes.
That would be me, and that's like I just want to do it. I don't care if it's your indie game. I don't care because I love indie games. I'm an indie game junkie. Like, that's my real big dream. I think like I'm not like a professional voice actor like half of these people in games. I just or to be a body model would be a big dream. To be a body model in a game because of the fact that they don't have plus size characters well done in games, and we're never like primary characters. We're always like some giant overweight boss that's like blown out of proportion and looks really scary or horrible.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like a plus size person in a game. Like there's a plus size character in Fortnite. Her name's Penny, who I love, and like that's like the ultimate goal. I said this to Rocco because Rocco was asking me like, what would my biggest thing be? And I think to have a Fortnite skin. I know it sounds like crazy. But to have a Fortnite skin, which will probably happen if I've been streaming for like 20 years and I have Pokemon or Ninja numbers, which will never happen because there's no Black people that have numbers like that, but whatever.
I think it could happen. I think it could happen.
To have a plus size Black woman skin in like Fortnite, even if I just secretly knew it was modeled after me and they didn't put my damn name on it, I would still be so happy. I would die happy. So yeah, those are like my biggest dreams. In the immediate future, make a podcast, find a cool sponsor, like you said, and keep doing what we like. Like I don't really care about anything else. I just want my community to keep being so amazing. I just like I don't know what else to hope for. Like I just hope we can continue to make dope content moving forward and continue to keep growing like the kind spaces that we've created. If I get to go on so-and-so's cool show or whatever, yes, that's amazing. I would die. There's a couple of shows that I haven't got to go on that I would literally give my left arm to go on in the game space. I'm patiently hoping one day like I get invited on them. But like I'm just happy to be here, right? Yeah. Like, aren't you just happy to be here? We talk about that so much, and y'all don't see it, but me and Steve are literally just like, wow, we're so lucky that we're here. In our DMs, it's just us back and forth talking about how happy to be here we are. So like, if tomorrow Steve and I still are sitting exactly where we're sitting and we haven't moved the needle an inch, we'd both still be so happy and content with where we are.
Yeah.
But if by the grace of God, we woke up tomorrow and had sponsors and were able to grow our platforms, we wouldn't shake our heads at it. But also I know Steve has a lot of morals behind the things that he does, just like me. It's why you haven't seen your girl go after specific sponsors that I know would work with me, etc. Because I believe in upholding the values that I've put out there into the world and that I've built my community on, and those will never change, not for dollar signs or amounts. And they won't ever change for clout, because honestly, we could stay obscure in this corner of the world and I would be so happy, like quietly off to the corner. So I hope that YouTube becomes more successful for you. I know that you just recently went over to YouTube. And I hope that
you find and carve out a place. Guys, if you haven't gone over to his YouTube and subscribed, you should.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been kind of even thinking about as well. Like, I mean, Twitch has been an amazing platform, and I'm not. I've only recently kind of moved over to YouTube because, like yourself, it's like we've only been doing this for like, I've been kind of in that middle camp of like, I've been doing this for a long time, but then I've also been like doing this for a short time. I've been on YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel for 15 years, but
wow.
I've never actually. Yeah, I started on YouTube the year it launched. That's how old school I am with it. That's why I'm like, my YouTube URL is youtube.com/snowball, because at the time that was my nickname for a long period of time.
That's the cutest nickname ever.
I came up with it when I was like 6 years old, because I had bullies basically making fun of me and calling me all a bunch of different names. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take a name that I'm gonna be okay with, and I'm like, if you're gonna call me something, call me this. And I chose Snowball, you know, in that 6-year-old kind of brain. But it only and I started Blind Gamer in 5 years ago, but it wasn't until like the past 2 that it really kind of started to climb and to get to a point where it is now. I mean, I just like literally the 2 days before my birthday, I just crossed the 10,000 subscriber mark on YouTube, which is something that I've been dreaming of for a long time.
That's so incredible.
Wow, yeah. Even to saying that out loud still, it's like
10,000 people think you're awesome. Like, that's so many people.
Yeah.
Like, I know people probably think like that's not a lot, but my God, that's so much to me, Steve.
Yeah, it's it's so surreal. And like here's the thing: at the beginning of this year, I had 3,800. I had a decent. It was a decent amount, but it was
a lot, Steve.
Yeah, but that was like
3,800, and then went to 10K.
It went to 10K. Yeah. I've had 2 videos this year that went over 100,000 views, and I've never reached the million mark. I've always wanted to reach that million mark. I want to. That would be actually a cool dream to have, I guess, in 2021. Is like have a video that has 1 million views. That would be the ultimate sort of thing.
Steve, that's wild. 100K views. And it wasn't people that hated you. I love to see it. I love to see it. Can't imagine. Can't relate. I've got 2 videos on YouTube, and all of them have like 30K views, but it's all people who hate me. So I don't know. There's still views. They still count as engagement on YouTube. Shout out to all my haters.
You know what?
Shout out to my haters.
It's all that YouTube cares about.
I'm almost a YouTube partner because of it. It's pretty great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I kind of started thinking about streaming on YouTube. I'm still trying to work the kinks out. Like I'm this is the first sort of actual stream that I'm doing on YouTube right now. So we'll see how that comes. And I had been thinking about like either the Patreon or the YouTube memberships thing. Just that may be in a short term sort of like in beginning of 2021 goal. I don't know. I'm still investigating it. But we'll see. And because I think you and I both we could be able to make a living doing the stuff that we love. That's the ultimate goal.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the dream. And to be able to collaborate with people that we look up to. Like that's the ultimate dream too. Like be in this space, make money doing what we love, and be able to collaborate with people that we admire and look up to. You know, I can't ask for much more. And I want to continue sharing our space with kind and thoughtful and loving people. And people like you, Steve, who I call a friend. And I feel very grateful that you came out and wanted to do this with me. I know we've been talking about it for like a minute, and I think it's really great that we got to look back at this year of wealth for us. It was a wealth of a year for us.
Yeah.
Logitech G just gifted 50 subs in the chat. What?
Oh my God. Wow. See, they're watching you, girl. They're watching you.
You sneaky humans.
Oh my God.
Logitech, we love you.
That is so cool.
I'm not gonna cry. You're a great. Oh my gosh.
Y'all are so kind.
Wow.
Oh, we just were talking about you. I hope your ears weren't burning.
Yeah,
We were talking about how we literally were just talking about how proud we were to be associated with you, and then you come in here with this. Holy cow!
That is so dope. Oh my gosh!
I'm not gonna cry. Everybody, thank Logitech for all those gifted subs.
Yep.
We've officially broke any record that we could have ever have had for subs this month.
Wow, that is so dope.
I'm gonna fall out. Okay, cool. My armpits are sweaty.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like we said about living your dreams.
Yep.
Steve is streaming. He's streaming on YouTube now, Logitech. But Steve, if you're streaming, you better watch out, they said. Start streaming, you better watch out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
They're threatening you. You remember that, like, share something, this is a threat meme? They're threatening you with love. My camera got all fuzzy because I started crying. Hold on. I'm like tearing up. Don't do this to me. I thought my makeup looked good today.
It looks good on my end. Looks good on my end.
Looks good on your end? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm turning as okay. Anyways, this year has been a year of wealth for us. I think this year has been a year of abundance and speaking life and prosperity over our existences.
Yeah.
I think it has been a very multifaceted year for our communities, where we've seen a lot of struggles and a lot of hardships, but we've also seen a boon of support and change in both technology, etc. Like, Black content creators are being seen in a way we haven't been seen before. I'm gonna hold on to that. Accessibility is being looked at with new, fresh eyes every day for you. And we're coming out with, there's incredible tech on its way, things that are being done, and there's options being seen in games that 5 years ago you probably never would have thought would even have begun to exist, you know? So I hope that it keeps moving forward. I hope that you all don't just support me as a Black female content creator. I hope that you're seeking out otherness in general for your communities. And I hope that you guys, if you're streamers and you're in my chat, you've taken what I've talked about, what I've learned from Steve, and you're applying it to your chats. Please try to be accessible. Accessibility is a win for everyone. It is literally only going to bring more light and love into your space. The hearing impaired people that came in after my captions video have become some of the most treasured people in my community. And I never knew that I was missing these people before. If that tells you anything, you never know who you might need, and you never know where you might find love. And I think this year has been a surprise for that. If you'd have told me a year ago that I'd be hanging out with a blind white guy talking about accessibility, I'd have been shooketh and not understood how we could find so much to do together and found so much common ground in love and gratitude. And I am so thankful for you this year, Steve. And I am thankful to have been able to watch you thrive and see you succeed, because watching you thrive, and I'm not trying to cry, let me look away, but watching you thrive proves to me that kindness is a viable route for us to continue to take and continue to fight for, and that we will win, and that loving and being a good person at the end of the day is something people do care about. Above all things, it's just a little bit tougher right now for people like us. But the blessings, when they do come, are so big and so loud that we have to just hold those moments so tight and just really revel in them. And I'm thankful that you've allowed me a space to revel in our really cool joys, and not just revel, but totally geek out. Like, we've geeked out in conversations. If y'all could see them, you'd be like, y'all are so lame. But thank you for making a safe space for me to be myself with. And thank you for embracing me as my person, like just as I am. You've never told me to quiet down. You've never given me weird, oppressive or suppressive advice. You've always just stood by me and stood by me loudly. And I love you for that, Steve.
I love you too, Zombae, and that's one of the biggest highlights of this year for me has been being able to meet you and just share this space with you, because I just like, I love your fiery passion essentially in all that you do. And whenever I hear or see you pop up in so many different things, like places, that I'm just like, I get so excited, and I like, hell freaking yeah, like, oh my, like, it is so cool. And like, just like every time I, like, even just recently when like the kind of end off the year, we were all in that sort of like huge content creator Fall Guys thing with Alana, what Pierce was kind of a part of, like, to see, like, I was so like nervous and imposter syndrome going into there, but then I was like, I saw you in there, I'm like, all right, I'm with my peeps, I'm good. That's
how I feel too. I feel so scared in those situations, and I actually had a panic attack and left in the middle of that thing. But I had an anxiety attack. My anxiety's so bad lately. It's just due to, I think, a lot of the otherness of the situation. Yeah. But I feel so safe when I see you in a space, and I get so pumped up, like, oh, you got invited to be a part of this, me too. Like, you made sure I was in that Logitech mixer. Like, you made sure I was there, and nobody knows this, but like, there was like a Logitech thing going on, and like, I didn't get an invite, but he knew I was supposed to get an invite, but I didn't know I was supposed to get an invite. And I was like, they probably left me out on purpose because I'm probably not cool enough. And Steve was like, oh, you cool enough, let me make sure that you get an invite to this thing. And I had the best time, and I get to meet all these creators who talk to me, who I never thought would speak to me. And like, it was just like a clerical error, but it was the fact that you cared enough to make sure I was there with you. Like, you're just a good being, Steve. Wow, and I hope that you have so much prosperity this year that you can't take it. I hope that IGN is watching this, and I hope they pick you up, because like I said, everybody needs this Steve. And I think it would be wild for somebody at IGN to not want to do a podcast or have you hosting something. Or doing something with them, because it is an incredible boon, the wealth and the knowledge and the personality that you bring, because you are just hysterical and your enthusiasm is contagious. And IGN, just do the thing. And hashtag Steve for IGN on Twitter, everyone. Hashtag Steve for IGN on Twitter, because I just want to see you host something. The only thing I could host is something like Cheaters, which I'm very open to do.
That'd be good, but I would love to see you host right along with me. Because here's the thing, I think we both have been kind of like on the same show. Like, it's almost like we've also been on the same podcast circuit.
Steve, I don't think I'm qualified, but if I was, I would die to host with Steve. Die. Done. Look, you get a show, just be like, I want to host with Zombae. They're gonna be like, all right, we're taking the show. We're taking it back. No, IGN was really kind to me when they had me on there. They were very kind and actually offered me back, even though people were crazy about it. So who knows? Steve, we don't know what 2021's got popping. All I know is that it's gonna be great.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what's ahead for both of us, and let's make this so it's like a yearly thing. Like, I want to be able to, like, obviously be able to like play games with you. We got plans to be able to do that throughout the entire year. But I want to be able to like come back on December 31st, 2021, and just reflect on everything that's happened. Plus, like, here's what happened since this conversation. I'm
100% into hosting a yearly show with you, Steve.
Yes.
Don't threaten me with a good time, okay? Once a year, we will do a year in reflection, and I'm 100% pumped about that. You heard it here first, guys. Steve Saylor, Zombaekillz, year in review from now until we both die. That's what we're doing.
Deal.
That's what we're both doing. Done.
Yeah.
But everybody, you can find Steve Saylor on Twitter and Instagram as Steve Saylor. He's also got stevesaylor.net, and his YouTube is youtube.com/user/snowball, right?
Yep. And I think if you just go to youtube.com/snowball, that also works as well. So
awesome.
Yeah. And for my chat as well, you can be able to go to twitch.tv/Zombaekillz. And you'll be able to go follow her on Twitter as well at Zombaekillz. And then you don't have a YouTube URL as of yet, correct?
I think I do. Did I change it? I think I do. Let me check this. Give me a sec. I think I do now.
because I looked it up.
They gave me so many hate views. They gave me so many hate views. I think I'm eligible for it. It's just like custom. Isn't that terrible?
Oh, it works.
That this
Yeah,
is where we're
you
at.
go to youtube.com/Zombaekillz and it will go to your channel.
Look at me.
There you go.
Look at me.
There you go. You did it. You did
Yeah.
it.
I did it. I did it. No, I didn't do it. All the hateful people on the planet did. Shout out to them. Shout out to everybody being hateful. Please don't take that energy to 2021. If there's one thing, Steve, that you could say to everybody listening right now to close out your end of year thing, what would you say to everybody?
I would say, don't be afraid to follow your dreams, because we're living proof that it can happen, even if you think it's too unobtainable. And then also as well, just on a personal thing, it just because this goes to everybody, not just accessibility, but to everybody. I love being able to quote what Microsoft has sort of put out and said, that when everybody plays, we all win. So when everybody, every sort of community can feel welcome and can be able to play games, whether it's you're disabled, people of color, LGBTQA, trans, whatever, like when we can all play together, that's when we all win. And I hope that sort of you take that and you all kind of run with it in 2021, because we desperately need that after the year that has been 2020.
I literally don't think I can add anything to that other than choose kindness and choose being your most authentic self every time. Choose it.
Yep.
It may seem hard sometimes. It may seem like the most not fun road to walk on occasion, but every single time, the payout that you'll get for being yourself at the end of the day will be worth it. Every single time. The same thing when you choose kindness. You will never miss if you choose kindness. I promise you. Even if it seems like you did at first. But Steve, thank you for hanging out with me today, and thank you for spending part of your New Year's with me. I love you so much, friend.
I love you too. And I can't. We'll chat more as well. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on your channel, and thank you for being on mine. And I can't wait to see.
Yes, thank you. We're gonna kick so much ass this year. Y'all just watch.
Hell yeah.
Bye,
right.
Steve. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Oop, hold on. I ain't done yet. Hold on. Activate. There we go. Okay. All right. Well, let's zoom out. No, zoom me out. There we go. There we go. Hi, everybody. Choose every time you get the 21 better. Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for tuning into the chat. For those who are still here, I appreciate it. I can hide the Zombaekillz name right there. It's been an absolutely amazing just to kind of be a part of this community, and this was an absolutely great conversation, and I want to encourage you, if you haven't had, like, if you're watching this live, and go back and rewatch it from the beginning. It was a great 2-hour conversation, but if you're watching this afterwards, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video, and y'all have yourself a great happy new year, happy 2021. Hopefully this year will be better for you than 2020 has been, and I wish you all the absolute best in everything that you all do, because you all are amazing and deserve so much kindness and amazingness to happen in your life, even with the shitty part that has been 2021 or 2020. Excuse me. So yeah, thank you all so much, and I will see you all next time. Take care, everybody.